I was correct. It is attempt 22. Attempt 21 was nice. I liked the cherry blossoms. We're currently listening to Unpoetic Justice and the increase of anti-intellectualism across our country, the U.S. And honestly, this is a nice balm after the first 2 hours of watching Hassan cover the Jubilee debate and just... Again, I respect Mehdi Hassan so much more now. The man who was in the debate, also the guy who was covering it's pretty cool, but good lord, y'all, just... Outside of that, I hope y'all are having a lovely day. This is day 0 right now. We're in the woods, and we are slowly trying to get something accomplished here. Minecraft has been particularly harsh to me these past few playthroughs, so we'll see if this goes different, but, you know. Some of this is just the game spanking you till you get better, right? I said, once I hit attempt 50 at this, I will eventually just create a world that I don't die on. I have an add-on pack that would be fun, just it makes no sense to do on this particular mode. It would more or less give a gravestone, and much like playing hardcore mode, if I died in that mode, regardless of how tempting it would be to go back and get my stuff, I will avoid it and instead leave the grave marker there as a grave marker for that character. I'll also go and change the whole character's look and everything, you know. Because if I'm going to do it, you know, I might as well do it right. And I'm not wanting to make it to where you can't, like, enjoy me doing this mode. It's just, y'all, so many plans have been laid so far to waste so many times, and it's just... So this time around, fuck it, this time around, fuck it, obstinance, whatever, and we're just gonna make it as pretty as we can make it. We may die tomorrow, so party today sort of thing, you know? I did not make an axe. Posture, platform, these things carry more weight than the content of the idea. This is why people often look to the English as the intellectuals on the YouTube platform for some fucking reason. This is anti-intellectualism operating under the guise of credibility policing. If people are going to hear big ideas, they often need to hear them from those who they feel safe with. This means looking the part so the audiences don't have to reevaluate their biases in the midst of tingling with other complex ideas. Ironically, even in cases where discourse surrounding topics like bias and stereotyping are welcome, listeners would still rather hear from those who fit inappropriate molds. Notably, these expectations extend beyond a marginalized speaker, setting implicit standards for desirable archetypes within societal groupings. For me, this means
not only speaking on topics I'm expected to, but aptly performing my identity in the process. It's not an accident that the two biggest videos on my channel both deal with race, i.e. I'm black, so people expect for me to talk about race, and that's acceptable for me. In this sense, credibility is often just another code word for conformity, and when intellectualism strays from that code, when it is embodied in the wrong body, spoken in the wrong register, delivered through the wrong platform, it is attacked as
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of the trash man coming and picking up our garbage. I think. I friggin' hope. Either that or a storm rolled through and I didn't hear it. Honestly, I do like the change of environment. That is one thing that I'll say that is a positive of this particular mode.
Some are dismissed for being too informal or too unpolished. Others are discounted for being too academic or speaking in ways deemed inaccessible, even when they're not speaking.
Yep, as the trash man cometh. Shifu, it's okay, honey child, please shush. Children, everybody, please shut the fuck up. Benjamin, you're a good smart boy, act good and smart and good. What is that noise? You know what that noise is. It happens every week around this time. Nothing scary, just the basic thing. That's a good boy. That's a Benny, good Benny. There we go. See, folks? I try not to yell, but I know I fail. Hell, y'all got it on video of me failing several times to not yell. But we try our best, right? Failures, achievements, all that. Less of the rejection of thought and more of a relentless narrowing of who gets to think out loud. It's time then to not ask just what we believe, but why we believe it. Why we trust some voices and instinctively distrust others. Why we let certain ideas resonate only when they arrive in a familiar tone from a familiar face. Because until we confront those reflexes, we will continue to mistake style for substance and leave the most necessary conversations completely unheard.
All that trying hard shit. My shit just corny. Where you going? I'm about to go skate this guy. Try hard, be corny, right?
There is yet another dimension to anti-intellectualism, one that feels contemporary,
What do I do?
but in truth is just a modern mutation of
That's
long-standing insecurity.
not what I want.
Younger generations, particularly Gen Z and the emerging Gen Alpha, resistance to intellectualism is often aesthetic instead of ideological. Instead of disagreeing with ideas directly, there is a focus on how one postures it. It's about the vibe, the aura, and above all, it's about what's cringe. In these digital generations, where every moment can be clipped, captioned, and vibrantly ridiculed, the worst thing you can do is not necessarily be ignorant, it's to try too hard. To care publicly about something complex, abstract, or controversial is to risk vulnerability in a culture that weaponizes mockery with frightening precision. If someone sees you reading theory, sharing a thoughtful video essay, or asking a deep question in class or online, you're immediately running the risk of being branded as a tryhard.
I mean, that's why I tell y'all to be brave and bold and undaunted. The nice lady on the screen was just pointing out the unpoetic justice. Was just pointing out about the whole people are shown to they're not supposed to try hard. But I would say it's the exact opposite. The try hard should be the ones that we're upholding in a society. Because they're doing their best even when their best is clearly not enough at the time. They're still doing what they can. It's not a bad thing to try hard. And I mean, what's the opposite of that? Someone that doesn't want to give a shit at all? But then again, you know, I've done a bunch of these. I thought it was over 800. It's not over 800 yet, y'all. Still plenty of time left. It's just I do a video every day, some of them poignant, some of them corny, all of them are just, I'm doing my best to be a good influence for those that choose to follow me, and to try to do my best to be a good fella, because there's lots of bad actors out here, you know? Lots of folks are just trying to get you thing. There you go. Like Gumball said, and I really need to sit down and watch all that since it's a completed series. I'm old, fellas. I tend to watch things when they're done, which is why I waited so long to watch The Owl House, and then I was like, oh, now I wish there was more of it. Steven Universe I felt was alright. Steven Universe Future is alright. I don't know if I'll care for the Lars of Mars or whatever they're calling the newest one. I see a jungle over there. That's pretty cool if we can get there. Sorry, sheep friend, but I need wool. This game has shown me if I let an environment grow, I will die. I do not want to die. Kinda, yeah. I mean, I couldn't agree more on that one.
sometimes it hides behind the false sense of confidence of tradition. At the center of this cycle is the idea of social blinders. Our understanding of the world is often shaped by the environment we live in and what they permit us to see. Most people don't consciously reject intellectualism. They live inside structures that never ask them to think deeply in the first place. Younger generations often operate in digitally progressive spaces where the language of activism and inclusion is so ubiquitous that it becomes normalized. Concepts like gender fluidity, mental health advocacy, or fat acceptance aren't questioned, they are assumed. And because these ideas are presented as givens, their intellectual and historical foundations are often left unexplored, resulting in these younger generations taking the progression for granted, never quite realizing they've inherited a world shaped by movements they've never felt, never fought for, and thus never questioned. They live within the consequences of transformation, but rarely understand the cost of it, which inhibits progression that requires hardy analysis. Older generations, by contrast, experience change constantly and often unwillingly. They see their familiar frameworks replaced by unfamiliar norms. For them, the change is not invisible, it's inescapable. The language has shifted, the symbols have changed, and the moral center feels unstable. Without context, such changes feel like an erasure. Underneath this generational tension is a deeper, more subtle truth. We've become deeply accustomed to passive living. Technology has made things effortless. Instant access, instant delivery, instant gratification. Our lifestyles are structured around convenience, automation, and algorithmic thinking. We built a world where effort is no longer required to survive. So when we're asked to exert intellectual effort, to read deeply, to reflect critically, to endure ambiguity, it all feels kind of unnatural. It feels like work in a culture that prizes ease. In a society where idleness is often mistaken for peace, the demand to think critically becomes threatening. It implies that your comfort might not be earned, that your opinions might not be sufficient, and that your passivity might be the problem. Effort in this context may feel like a personal attack. It diminishes perceived values of leisure, of instinct, of just being yourself. This is how anti-intellectualism becomes seductive. It justifies idleness, it flatters ignorance, it lets people confuse ease with truth. When discomfort arises, when someone introduces a difficult idea or questions a widely accepted belief, mockery becomes the shield, ridicule becomes the weapon. It's easier to call something cringe or overthought or trying too hard than to admit that you've never considered it. So the cycle persists. An idea surfaces. It disrupts someone's comfort. They reject it, not because it's wrong, but because it demands effort. Others agree, and that shared rejection forms a culture. Anti-intellectualism becomes not a mindset, but a community. Not just belief, but a badge of honor.
What I've just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never gonna let that happen.
Breaking the cycle involves more than simply telling someone to read more or think harder. It requires an entire cultural shift, one that reclaims effort as something meaningful instead of shameful, one that recognizes discomfort as a sign of potential growth. It means questioning the narrative that tell us peace is always good, effort is always embarrassing. Because true intellectualism isn't about sounding smart, it's about being willing to think, even when it's hard, or slow, or uncomfortable. In a world so obsessed with speed, appearance, and ease, the act of thinking deeply may just be one of the most radical things left to do. And so, this isn't really about punk. It never was. Punk was just the opening chord, a cultural symbol loud enough to grab attention, familiar enough to evoke nostalgia, and fragile enough to break open. But the critique from the very beginning was aimed at something much larger, the quiet, creeping rot of society.
Well, it's sort of like we could compare almost all competitive sports to gladiatorial games or dogfighting. I mean, all the way down to WWE, for example, which is something most people aren't comfortable with hearing or thinking about, but yeah, if you enjoy the sport, and I'm not saying don't, the pageantry is awesome. It's fun watching oiled up men wrestle with each other. But it would be much more enjoyable to know that those gentlemen and ladies are being well paid and they have good health insurance, and that none of them are going to rattle their dome so much that they murder their entire family in a weird rage induced because their brain got banged around one too many times. Who doesn't enjoy a good boxing match every now and again, or a good MMA match? It's fun, but I think those gentlemen and again ladies who are in the ring and in the octagon and whatever should be well taken care of and well compensated. Because let's face it, it's Mike Tyson and all these other people, they're taking years off their lives, and listen to the way they sound compared to what they could have sounded like. I mean, why do you think so many sports, like heavy contact sports people, end up going right wing? Because right wing's very anti-intellectual, very much, well look, shiny thing you can have right now. You can have this shiny thing is yours right now. And they take advantage of the people that have basically abused their bodies so much that at this point, when someone points out, hey, this is something abusive and nobody should have to go through it, you included, they just, I don't know what's wrong with you soft people, all you soft kids these days. I don't only like the abuse, I want the abuse. Please, government, spank me, daddy. And it's, yeah, that's insane, bro. Why are you like that? Why do you think that's okay? And yeah, it can loop from wrestlers, singers, service professionals. It's not just a one thing, y'all. It's an everything. It's like a root thing, a keystone issue. And it's just, it's something I've noticed, and maybe I'm the only one who's noticed it. I don't know. I mean, it's like, hell, one of my co-workers, who will remain nameless for now, I'm sure y'all can guess if you've seen enough streams, but it's like, they revel in the, oh no, I'm happy to be exploited by the system, because it gives me one more thing to put upon my big cross I put on my own back. Whereas, when you're like, yeah, but if we stood together and we fought together, we could fix it to where nobody has to. Yeah, well, I paid my dues, and I got here with it like this, so why not? Why don't y'all do the same thing we did? And they're unable, possibly due to all the things they have done and have let go by, but they're not willing to just give anything. But that's the thing, is that's a defense mechanism. That's you in survival mode. Human rights isn't a pie, y'all. There isn't, oh, if we give these kids and these people health care and good things, y'all don't get them. No, everyone gets them. Human rights isn't a pie. Human rights is just something we can all have and should have. I think, again, if we're supposed to, give me a second, we'll get to hers. This is the original one, The Tragic Decline of the Punk Rock Attitude. Which is just the thing. That's why I tell the kid that I work with, Jesse, the reason I like punk rock, Hailstorm, the Pretty Reckless, and the rebellious, yell in their face ones, just like I like Johnny Sprocket with The Cog is Dead, or Voltaire from the Lair of Voltaire, or Rare Americans. I like the indie groups and the punk groups because they're not, it's not like the Tom McDonald's and all the dipshits who, oh, look at me, I'm so big and star-spangled special, I did this myself. And no, it's less about that, more about, hey, I love my fans, I love the groups that work with us. The reason Rare Americans and a lot of these groups don't play like sold-out stadiums is they know the ticket prices, and the only way you can get ticket prices is by going through a system. You can't just go and rent out a cornfield somewhere and then put a stage up, put your speakers up, and play for whoever the hell shows up. It'd be nice, but the cities won't allow that. And perhaps if I had someone pop in and pop right back out, we're talking about social change. Social change is scary. I'm just here to watch Meathead play game. Just like I'm just here to watch man pick up heavy object. I don't want thinking man, I want stupid man. I like system comfy for me. Well, for now it is, but what happens when it's not? I won't care because system always comfy for me. That's the one thing I love to do to these bootstrap folks, and watch out because it pisses them off real quick. But just ask, well, what happens if when it happens to you? Because by your system, everyone will eventually get abused. For capitalism to function, there has to be an other class. And I can point this out. First it was, sorry for my language, first it was our African American and black brothers and sisters. Then it was the Irish, the Polish, the Catholics. Then it was the Italians. Then it was the Mexicans. Then it was the Chinese for a long time. And still today there's a whole lot of yellow fear, so to speak. Forgive the language again. But it's like, capitalism has to have an other. You need those lazy fucks, those lazy bastards just playing their games and eating their sweet rolls and not doing a fucking thing. Those people, those are your enemies. Not the people who have been exploiting you and taking all of your sweet rolls. No, no, no. It's those people, the ones who dare to ask for some. It's like how, even now, working in a restaurant, if I had my way, anyone come to the restaurant's proper seating would get fed. I can't promise you great food if you're not paying for it, but I can promise you food if we got any left over. They don't want that because that breaks the system. And after all, it's just the lazy homeless, right? No, brother, you're way closer to being that lazy homeless person there, close, than you are to being the owner of the food restaurant. But people don't like to think that because it's uncomfortable. I mean, hell, the one thing that I love to do to these bootstrap assholes is, well, when I was homeless, because, yeah, some of them, like one that shall remain unnamed, but they know who they are, they'll immediately, well, so was I. Because to them it's not a matter of, oh, you've told me a fragile experience you dealt with. It's, I'm waiting for my turn to talk. Why are you taking so long? I haven't had my turn to talk yet. It's not about turns, friend. It's about working together to the betterment of everybody. I'm about to go outside and probably get killed by the literal gang. Oh, here we go. But, like I said, social change is hard. I get it. And when it comes to things like Rare Americans and the indie bands compared to the big bands, I'm not knocking it. Hell, listening to some of the music junkies talk about how Ozzy Osbourne's Mama, I'm Coming Home was a goodbye letter to fans, it was like, aw, yeah, that sucks. Because Ozzy was a real one. He seemed like he actually gave a shit. I mean, he never did anything too bad by his fans or too great. Why are you immediately aggressive? Is it because it's raining? Yeah, it's because it's raining. Oh, if I get it enough, I can get a fishing pole. And yeah, y'all, it is about the effort, and I think try hard should come back. Because honestly, it's easy to be cynical. It's easy and lazy, and that's something to point out to the cynics in your life who are just being assholes about shit. Okay, I hear you. Now, how do we correct the action? Because, yes, ignoring it is not going to correct it, but just being an asshole about it and trying to get your chops off on someone also isn't going to correct said action. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm tapping on it and not really knowing. That's kind of the whole thing that I do here. That's why I upload so many videos a day, and some of them are just me sitting quietly with it. Dang it. This is frustrating again. Okay, the plan is I swoop sideways, get them to draw away from the door, and then run immediately into it. And let's see if the old system still works and they can't get through. Oh, hell yeah. That'll work then. I guess we'll just go back to working in the underground till the storm passes. because I am not in the goddamn mood to deal with zombies right now. Anyway, we got enough food in reserve. We can stay underground for a minute and work. At least till we run out of building supplies. And for that, we got plenty of wood for sticks and such, so we'll see what we can do without having to go die. Did the storm pass? Maybe we should just stay till we heal up some. But yeah, y'all, all I ask is try to do what I do. I mean, just talk to folks. Be careful when you talk to them, because like I said, you can piss them off just by telling them to be civil with each other. But when bullying's become the norm, to ask for civility seems like you're being the radical. And I just don't, like I said, I try my best to, because the only thing that pisses me off is racism, bigotry, willful, like, stupidity, like I tell you how to do it repeatedly, I talk to you on how to get it through, and you say you know how to do it, then you immediately do it a different way than I've shown you. That kind of thing, it'll annoy me, but my initial thought is, okay, I have failed to communicate. How do I need to communicate this to convey my point better? But then again, I'm very different. I'm broken mentally as a person, so a lot of people's opinions don't matter to me, because come whatever may, things that the only thing that's constant in this world is change. It's the only thing. Hell, if you had come to me 10 years ago and said that I wouldn't have anything to do with with my uncle or my cousin at all, that I would see through all the facade and see my cousin as the craven coward he is and my uncle as the drug-addicted, broken man that he is, I would have said you were crazy. I would have sung their praises from nonsense that they didn't do, but they had a hand in that they were around for. But that's the thing, y'all. Nope. You can't teach anybody anything, nor can I teach anything. We all teach ourselves with what knowledge we have at hand available to us. It's like, oh good, the dead are finally dying. It's why I don't always succeed, but I try to give a certain amount of humanity, even to the people who are being assholes. It's just a pet peeve of mine. I don't like it when other people are picked on, you know? Pick on me, I can take it. I'm already broken. It's why people don't like to pick on me. Because when you're already broken as I am, nothing really gets through. You can't bleed a turnip. And here comes the prolonged, silent, dead air part of our game, where I basically continue doing what I've been doing because I'm not sure what to do in this right now. I'm digging down to do things, and can I go out and not die, or if I go out there, am I going to be attacked randomly again? Nope, I still hear dead things. So I'm just going to keep my health up. Build up some railings for this, and then mine my way down some more. Railings for this, stairs for here, and we keep on rocking. more torches. So we will split that and throw that in. Can I make a bed yet? Need one more piece of wool. Alright, and stairs. At least until I find some more iron. Odds are it might not, but if it does, hell yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Honestly, if I were going to try to compare my channel to anything, it'd be like those two fellows that I saw on YouTube so long ago that like head out into the forest near them and just dig into the dirt and make amazing neat things. Typically they don't do dialogue, it's just them building quietly. Most of the fun of it's trying to guess what the hell they're doing while they're doing it. But I don't know. I'd like to think I'm like that, but for this, I don't know though. Howdy, howdy, viewers. How y'all doing today? Bye. Hope you have a good day now. Alrighty, y'all. Probably after we break this pick, we're probably going to back on out, see what we can do up top. If nothing can be done, we will stop for the time and continue building the great secret tunnel. Secret tunnel through the mountain. I think that's what I'm going to name this project. But yeah, this is going to be a grand staircase, ideally, if I don't die in the middle of making it. And I'll try to get it to go to several secret tunnels, and we'll see what we can do about that, 'cause it seems like a fun thing to do. If you enjoyed watching so far, please drop a like. It is free. Also, maybe comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. If not, it's cool too. I'm not normally this chill. Normally I'm talking about some big thing going on in the world. Today it's mostly just, you know, trying to keep chill. But y'all be good. We've gotten a few things done. I need to widen this out one more again. In case you can't tell the pattern so far, I'm going to have the staircase come off the opposite side of this one. Because you got the ones coming down to here. I'm going to have that one on that side going down through here. And I'm going to have it go down a decent amount each time, going a little bit further, where eventually, if I keep cutting it the way I'm cutting it and doing it the way I'm doing it, this entire little underside entryway is going to be a huge area. But that's if I do it accordingly and correctly, and I don't end up, you know, accidentally dying in the middle of the project. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and that'll be 3. That's bug. Okay. And that'll be 1, 2, 3. The middle will be 4, which is fine, because if I do it correctly, and as I plan on doing it, this will basically be, let's see, 3 over, 2 deep, then starting to descend here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it'll drop by about 7, maybe go ahead and do 8 feet, because I'll probably have it descend here. And then 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, so if I do it correctly, it'll be about 26 feet total descent from there to over there. And that's if I just make it corkscrew all the way around. Or I might just do it here, have it drop, hollow out, widen out, hollow out, widen out, hollow out, widen out. Then over here, stick it out by about 3 more blocks, 4 more blocks, and descend again. By the time I get to, I'd say 3 sides, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, then we'll widen out the entire room by just a little bit, and then we will proceed in one direction from there, splitting off as we find cool stuff. And then we'll descend again, but different. And as we do that, we'll also, of course, be growing our food outside and harvesting what we can through here, because part of the whole secret tunnel lore was, I believe, different food drops and lighting and whatnot. But alright, y'all. Either way, if you've enjoyed, please drop a like and a subscribe. It is free and it helps me immensely. If you didn't, well, I still thank you for being here, and I hope we at least got you to have a bit of a brighter day while you were here watching us just calmly build our little tunnel. As you can see, the outside's fairly untouched and undaunted. My main thing out here is going to be just growing food and moving the hay bales as I do what's going on in there. As I find copper, I might copper off the top of the tunnel. That way I can have a direct sunlight in and out, a natural light source. But ideally it'll stretch from here to something in the jungles over there and find out what else is around us. Either way, grand plans, I say this and I could turn around to get blown up by a creeper. before I go, if I have the space, which I do, sorry sheep, you were the final piece. Now I can make a bed. Now this one is officially started off. Did I get it? Okay, I did. Now this is officially started off. We ready for it now. Alright. Y'all be good. Have a good rest of your day. I'll be back here in just a little bit with more than likely Odyssey. But before I do that, I'm probably going to do a few dishes. Maybe do a little bit of the artwork assignments that I got. That I give myself, of course. Either way, y'all be good. And we'll see you next time, friends. Bye for now.